Welcome back to Hacker Rehab. We got no self and upgrade solutions. It's a pleasure to have you, as always. And yeah, thanks for joining, dude. I was pleasantly surprised when I saw you join up. So welcome, man.
Nice to be here, man. It was a surprise to me. Got off of work stuff early, so
Nice.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, no doubt. Open invite as always. Same with no self, and I really dig the fact that we got a community like this that we can share everything and share our opinions as long as they align with mine. And I'm just kidding, but no, I like that it's a community show. I really do love the community aspect of this shit. So thanks for making it awesome.
I love coming on and talking to you guys. Everyone else, it's always a good conversation on here. So thanks for always having us.
Yeah, hell yeah. I got to fix one thing and change this to upgrades. And that's it. We're done. We're good to go and get into the grime that is the world stage. And what we touched on a little bit before the break was the unfortunate inclusion of Nazis into our everyday goddamn lives. And I think it's something that, I've talked about to a few people about this topic, and my approach to it is I want to talk about this now, before it's used by Putin and his troll farms as a weaponized thing that's used against the Ukrainian people and the Ukrainian government, and confront the ugliness that is what's happening right on, and acknowledge it, and make sure that we're all on the same page that this kind of shit's not okay. But unfortunately, it's a part of war. And what I'm referring to, obviously, is if you are not aware, there's a pretty heavy Nazi contingent in a few of the cities in Ukraine that are partnered with the Ukrainian military. And it's a thing that's becoming more and more prevalent, as I've noticed, in things like Getty images. Specifically, there was a Getty image that I'll share, but there's a Getty image that just really blew my mind, man. It's been sent to me by Crazed, who's a amazing fella. I'm sad he wasn't able to come on and join us today, but we all have lives, and some of them are more important than others. And I truly mean that. Like his kids are way more important than some bullshit fucking stream. I didn't mean that to sound as shitty as it sounded.
People's kids being important? Come on, what are you?
Yeah,
socialist?
I love it. All right, so we have something to kick off the combo right here. A tweet that I'm putting up on the screen. Sadly, you guys on the Zoom can't necessarily see it, but if you're watching the stream, you can. It's just a Getty image tweet. It looks innocent enough, right? And in fact, I would have never noticed anything about this until people started saying, "What the fuck is that?" And so the tweet's titled, "Ukrainian servicemen help evacuate civilians near Lurpin." I'm assuming it's Lurpin, Ukraine. 3 civilians were killed as Russians' mortar rounds landed, striking a route used by civilians fleeing southeast towards Kiev. First things first, the title of that is atrocious enough in itself. The fact that Putin and his military continues to target civilian routes and civilians in general is something that the man should be hung by his nuts for. Fuck Putin for this. Fuck him. Seriously. He's not a good individual. He's a war criminal. And the fact that everybody is so afraid of this motherfucker to stand up to him is sickening to me. But we can get into that later. I know that's gonna evoke a lot of emotions and shit by me saying that, but truly that's how I feel. Anyways, so let's zoom in on this picture, because that's kind of where the issue is. So we click on the picture, and again, you can't really see anything interesting there. But if you actually look, I just want to make sure we're following along here. So if you actually look at the picture and kind of zoom in more, you notice, especially with military pictures, something to look out for is patches.
Black hole, sun, or whatever it is.
Yep, there it is. So patches are important because they show, like right here, you can't see my mouse. They show what in who your allegiances are truly to, in a way. All right, so we're zooming in here on the patch. I'm sure you guys have all figured out what I'm about to highlight, but I'm gonna highlight it anyways. So right here we have an issue. This is a symbol of neo-Nazis, plain and simple. It just is. It's called the Black Sun. It's a symbol used to display your allegiance to the Nazi fucking cause. I mean, look at this. It's no fucking question here what this is. And so, how, first of all, how dare they fucking display this on their fatigues for the Ukrainian military? And same goes with the U.S. Any U.S. Service member caught displaying shit like this on their military uniforms should be booted the fuck out, in my opinion. I don't see any use for people like this in our military because optic wise, they're fucking us. This guy may be an amazing shooter. He may be an amazing gunsmith or target. I was gonna say target guy, but that's my derp acting up. The point is, there's no place for Nazis anywhere, but there's really no place for them in a world stage, especially a stage that Putin is using as an excuse for moral high ground to attack the Ukrainian people. And I wonder what your thoughts are on this. I'll shoot it to No Self first. What do you think about this stuff, man?
Well, I mean, I obviously can't condone Nazism in any way, shape, or form, and I think that it's absolutely ludicrous to think that you're going to win the support of, support the Russian side when you parade around proving their point.
Yeah.
Now, that's when I say that, I mean like the Ukrainian government allowing this to happen, because honestly, I don't think you're going to change anyone's opinion in the Azov battalion or whoever it might be. I don't think you're going to change their mind. But I have to assume, because listen, I really don't think that the Ukrainian government is a Nazi extremist group. Their president or prime minister, I don't think, the president is a Jewish man whose grandmother is a Holocaust survivor. So the likelihood of him being a Nazi seems very unlikely to me. But I'm going to have to go with the whole the idea that they would rather have them fighting for them and against them, and hope that. Now, by no means am I justifying that in any way, shape, or form. Let me make that very clear. I am not justifying it. But when you're under siege,
you're not justifying. Just to be clear, you're not justifying that individual, but you are almost in a way justifying the Ukrainian military's decision to allow these people to temporarily, at least, align with them to help the cause.
Understand it. I'm saying I understand it. I still don't think there's. Well, I mean, I'm torn because they're fighting for they're fighting for their survival as a nation, and it's tough to turn away anybody that's willing to strap on an AK or whatever it is, an SKS that they're using over there, and
put their lives on the line,
body armor, and
I mean, people don't want to admit it, but Nazis unfortunately are people too. At the end of the day, they pump blood just the same as us, and if they're willing to put their lives on the line to assist you in a cause that's so important, I do think that there is a pause that we need to take in our thinking. We have such an easy time
Can I
making
make
things
an
black and
analogy?
white lately, and I don't like that. Go ahead.
Can I make an analogy? Okay, so your car accident. I know it's not something you like to talk about, but
I
let's
love
face
talking
it.
about it.
Okay, well, I'm sure you don't want to relive it, but
No, I do.
say for example, you were laying on the street, broken legs, next to a car about to explode, and a man rolls up. It wasn't that police officer, or maybe even that
Wearing a
police officer.
not where it was weave that rolled up.
Weave,
Let's
yeah,
make
with
it
a
weave rolled
swastika on
up.
his chest, and are you going to be like, no, just let me burn here? I mean,
I
and
would
in the end,
consider
are you?
it, but in the end,
Yeah,
I
well,
would accept his help,
that
of course.
that's kind of the same boat that I see it in. Again, I'm not justifying um, Nazis, the individuals, but I can, and I'm not even necessarily justifying the use of, but I understand. And I guess in a sense that is justifying, but I understand it. So that's where
I,
I'm at.
I do too. I think that's a great point. And really, I've spoke to my military buddies. I spoke to my Fed buddies. Yes, I have Fed buddies or ex-Fed buddies at least. But I've spoke to all people that really have the authority to have good opinions on this stuff, and they all really echoed the same thing, and the same thing being what you just said. It's a complex situation, but at the end of the day, if you're really looking for a high level description of what this is, it's the enemy of my enemy is my friend, at least temporarily, kind of deal.
It's
And
kind of
yeah, go ahead. I was gonna say I want to shoot it over to upgrades really quick. So let's hear it, buddy. What's up?
it's it's kind of nice when people wear these symbols because you can tell who you need to target later, right? And I don't mean target as in
Later.
kill. I mean, yeah, you know who these
Mm-hmm.
people are, you know who to stay away from, and you know who is targeting hate towards people, right? That
Yeah.
the things that you do have to worry about are what if there is a disabled person? What if there is a black person? What if there is a Jewish person that this guy has to help? Is he going to help those people, or is he going to let them rot on the street? Because you got a
Yeah.
big nose, like
That's
that's
it.
like the
That's an
kind of shit that they could be
interesting.
doing. Oh,
That's an
you look
interesting
kind of Jewish,
perspective.
so I'm not going to help you.
That's a
Like it could be.
really interesting point.
But at the same point in time, if he helps 100 other people and those people wouldn't have been helped, it's kind of one of those lesser of two evils thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
you're saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And not that I'm comparing the two things. We do have a historical precedence of allowing people that the general public see as deplorable into the military. The British people were more than happy to allow gay people into the World War II, and they thought, Turing was chemically castrated for being gay. They thought that he was so disgusting they chemically castrated him after the war. To be clear, I'm not saying he was. I think that he was.
No,
totally
he was.
fine.
He was really disgusting and totally deserved everything that.
Yeah, but the thing is that the government is always willing to look the other way on people that they see as disgusting or not human, basically, in order to reach their end goals.
Yeah.
Black people did not have the right to vote, but the United States government was more than happy to have bands of black soldiers in World War II. They didn't like the Native Americans, but we had the wind talkers,
Yeah.
So I think that if we're talking about whether or not this is good, the guy is horrible and deplorable. Might he save lives? Absolutely. Might he be bad for other lives? Very well, but I think historically speaking, there is very, very strong set of precedents for governments using people like that to their own benefit, whether it's right or wrong, to be clear.
I agree.
100% agree with you on that. Yeah. And so to that end, there is there's a feeling that a lot of these people that are donning neo-Nazi symbolism on their fatigues and things like that are there's a different perspective from their point of view. There's a different feeling of how they actually feel about the Nazi kind of marching orders and stuff. And what I mean by that is I've been kind of told that a lot of these guys and women, there's also, you'll see as we go through this, there's a lot of women donning the Nazi stuff too. They don't believe in the core values that we have been conditioned to believe Nazis just unanimously across the board believe. It's more of remnants and echoes from World War II, actually, where Ukraine had to ally with actual Nazis back then to fend off Russia. And that's echoed throughout history, and it's stuck with us as a general whole world society. But it doesn't mean that these people are actively going out and committing atrocities in the name of Hitler and all this other shit. It just means that it's a really complex situation, and uh, it's a really tough situation to explain. I am doing my best to explain what I know of it, but I'm not an expert in this. I don't think any of us would consider ourselves to be anything near experts on this. What we are, though, is, I think, a good representation of the general public, and we can give our opinion on what the general public, for the most part, sees and feels when they see stuff like this.
I think that the three people in this conversation at this current point in time are maybe a little more level-headed than the general public as a whole. I hate to
Well,
say
there's
it, but
that,
I
and
know
which is insane because, I mean, for God's sake, look at me, Jesus fucking Christ.
I
But
try to look at things objectively,
yeah,
you know, without bias. Of course, I have my own bias, and I recognize it. And sometimes I try to put it to the side, and it comes off sounding sympathetic to something that doesn't deserve sympathy per se. But
Mhm.
this is not one of those situations where I'm sympathetic towards the Nazis. I am sympathetic to the Ukrainian people,
Exactly.
and that's where it lies. And you know, I hope that down the road, that maybe we'll see this fizzle out through time. I mean, since 75 years since World War II ended, clearly
Yeah.
we've seen a steady decline in Nazis. Hopefully in another 150 years that number has dropped significantly again, you know, and we're nearing, but you know,
Have we seen a significant decline though? Because I feel like it's been
Yeah,
an
I was gonna
uptick.
say. I was gonna say.
Because
I don't know.
especially
years,
since
yeah.
especially since Germany has recently laxed some of their rules around, you know, Germany used to have laws basically outright banning a lot of the Nazi symbolism and stuff like that. And as they've kind of started to lax them up, whether by rule of law or by enforcement of the law, you know, you're starting to see more Nazism back in Germany again, which is spooky. You know, it's kind of funny now. People are, you know, everybody's now asking Germany to build a big military and send it over Poland over to Ukraine, and I'm like, didn't we learn the last two times? This is not a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I could very well be speaking incorrectly, because the movements, it was like we were talking about censorship before, tends to drive movements underground. So I would say that there's been less Nazism in the public eye over the last 75 years, but I've definitely noticed an uptick as well in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
totally.
that. I think it really started with that rally with the tiki
Unite the
Tiki
Right.
Light rally.
Oh,
yeah.
Unite the Right, yeah.
The fucking
And that-
the khaki motherfuckers.
Yeah, since then it's just been bad. It's
They were like, oh, look, there's thousands of us. I didn't even realize how many people stuck like I do.
in this one
Fantastic.
little town that's probably in podunk nowhere. You know, I think that for me, it's funny that you pointed out that logo. I've never even actually seen that you said it was the Black Sun. I didn't know
Yeah.
what it was. Once you said that, I had to like look it up to be like, what the heck is this thing?
Yeah.
So, you know,
I had no idea
I am in
before 2 days ago.
and you know, we're in more liberal parts of the U.S., so maybe that's a good sign that we didn't know what that was. I know, you know, I moved back to a very moderate side, and I don't see stuff like that where I'm at. So you know, at least there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And like, to say that it's a problem that's out of control, it would be ludicrous to me. So I'm not going to say anything like that.
To be
But
honest with you, go ahead, sorry.
go ahead. Yeah.
When I saw it, I initially thought to myself, because I saw the Nazi claims, and I was like, you know, that looks like pagan stuff to me, that,
Mhm. That's what I
or
thought.
possibly Nordic. And I was like, you know, maybe it has a different meaning, because you know how people will twist things, and when I looked it up, like, it was pretty obvious to me that no, it was definitely a sign of Nazism. I thought maybe it was like an ancient symbol that had different meaning, and that maybe it was used by a handful of individuals, and then, you know, and get blown out of proportion. But no, it seemed to me after a very brief internet search that it was completely Nazi related. And I was like, well, fuck me, that kind of sucks.
It does. It really does suck, and it's not cool. Let me just move to a few more, and we'll just get through the few images that I had. And
I will say though.
Go ahead.
I will say though that if they are looking to get rid of the Nazis in their army, they can go ahead and send me that super nice AK straight to my house. I'll take it full auto. I don't just hand it here, guys. I will dispose of it personally myself. You know.
Yeah.
You want one too?
I absolutely. I'd like a few if you would.
Maybe that man pad too, right there. I'll take that javelin as well.
Right. All right. So we'll move on to some more photos real quick. So this one is another one that I think you've all probably seen at one point throughout this week. The javelins, or well, the missile launchers being delivered to the Ukrainian military, and I know at least many people in my circles have seen it, and at first glance, there was no issue with it for me. I had no problem with it. In fact, when somebody pointed out that there was something amiss in the photos, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I couldn't find it. I literally could not find it. I had to ask them to circle it and point it out for me. It turned out that I was on my phone. It was a mobile connection, and I didn't realize that there was a second picture. So anyways, let's take a look at the first picture. First picture is pretty, benign to me. Trying to make this stream friendly. I think that's enough, right? You don't really need to see much more. Let's just see if we can get this centered better. There we go. So just a pretty standard photo. It's like some dudes, four guys standing around a missile launcher, and it's titled "A Shipment of NLAW Grenade Launchers and Instructions from NATO Countries Arrived in Ukraine." The Azov regiment was the first to learn about new weaponry. Now, the Azov regiment is something that we're going to kind of hone in on later in this conversation, because the Azov regiment, unfortunately, is what, in my opinion,
the Nazis.
They appear to be where the Nazis are heavily concentrated. I won't say they all are Nazis, because they aren't, but there is a very strong Nazi foothold in Azov, Azov. And again, what am I trying to do here? Nothing other than get ahead of this before Putin is able to kind of weaponize this story as a moral high ground as to why he's felt the need to bomb hospitals and bomb people that frankly just don't deserve it. I can't get behind Putin's bullshit at all. I just can't. I don't know. These people that are, I don't understand where they're fucking coming from. I really don't. But we'll leave that for a minute. Let's dive into the second picture here. So second picture, I'm actually gonna blow this one up just because y'all know what's happening in the second picture, because I pretty much said there was a problem with the second picture. So let's do it.
Seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen this in general? Okay. Well,
No.
So this is the second picture. It's just it's a group of maybe, it looks about 30 guys standing around another missile or grenade launcher or whatever the fuck it is.
Patch on the arm.
You saw it already. Okay, so yeah.
I just saw it right now.
So right there at the bottom. And I guess I gotta try and move this over. The scaling on OBS is all fucked. Let me actually switch screens to this one. There we go. So, yeah, if we zoom in, sadly, zooming in, I gotta do it this way. We see, God damn it, it's in the fucking corner now. Oh, there we go. Zooming in, we see this interesting looking logo. It's yellow, background, blue, and it just has that Nazi vibe to it. Now, you could say, well, Dan, not Dan, whoever, a vibe doesn't mean shit. And you're right, a vibe doesn't mean shit. However, again, sadly, I was linked to a direct description of what this thing is, and it's no bueno. Um, that was actually from my good buddy, If Not Pike. If you're not following If Not Pike, he's a wonderful dude. Very up on military stuff. He's, I believe, been known to pull triggers in the military at certain points in his
I
past.
think he was like a tank commander or something, to be honest with
I
you.
believe he was, yeah. And so he knows his shit, and he's a very wise individual. Uh, he's not an idiot. And so
I've never heard him speak fallacy on military stuff before.
and
He's
no,
pointed some stuff out to me as well. So,
he's very measured in his speaking as well, which I really respect. But so
so
if we actually look, go ahead.
this particular picture, this is actually the first time I've seen it.
Hmm.
So initially, when the war first broke out, there was a bunch of Russian propaganda photographs going around of the Azov battalion guys.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular symbol. And I find it surprising that the Ukrainian military, if that's who this was released by, would use this picture, because I'm almost positive that that guy with that khaki hat on was in one of the original photographs from the fucking Russian military when they were claiming the Nazi troops in the Azov battalion. And I'm almost positive that that individual was one of the guys in the pictures holding up a flag with that, or one of the guys in the same photo holding that same flag. And that's the first time I had ever seen that logo. So I looked it up myself, but that was the initial outbreak. Yes, this guy here.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. And well, I don't doubt that he was featured and all that, but this was released by whoever. I don't even care who it was released by, honestly. It was released by somebody recently, um, depicting them around a grenade launcher, and the dude very clearly has the patch on. So the patch, and it links. It's right here. Look, and the thing that's especially troubling to me about this particular one is that it's known as the Azov Battalion. They are out in the open about this. They are an established special operations detachment from the Ukrainian military. That's a little concerning. And we've all been seeing stuff about Azov and Mariupol recently because they're under attack, so to speak, by the Russians. This stems back to 2014. There's been a lot of kind of buildup of, well, lack of a better term, Nazi contingent in the Ukraine since 2014. It's actually since 1994. But I'm not saying that they are representative of the Ukrainian military, because they're not. They are representative of themselves. But there is a collective in Azov, and there is what appears to be a higher concentration than normal of Nazis in Azov and a few other small cities in Ukraine. Go ahead.
If you do notice in that article, it does mention that they are a former paramilitary group that is now part of the National
Guard, yeah.
Military or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know if you know about the Wagner group, which is Russian paramilitary. They're also Nazis.
Mm.
It's basically the same thing. And it kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier about, these guys were not actually an actual regiment within the Ukrainian military until it was, and again, I mean,
until it was,
I don't know how much this justifies
desperation.
it, but it was a necessity, if you will.
Desperation is a thing. Like, and that's, I think, the point that I want to make sure I keep driving home along with these images and along with this dialogue is that while it is happening and while it is a thing, I think anybody in the higher ranks of the Ukraine crisis and all that stuff would say this is done out of necessity. These weren't our first choices of allies. And I think that's an important distinction to make, because that's a lot different than saying that the Ukraine military actively seeks out Nazis first and then treats everybody else like second-class citizens. That's absolutely not what's going on. These guys are being brought in because they are good fighters, they know what they're doing and they're fighting for Ukraine versus fighting against Ukraine. And sadly, that's war. War, to famously quote, war is hell, right? Uh, there is no perfect solution in war. There's no perfect situation in any kind of war. A war is just
I should
fucking terrible.
I should also point out, like I said, the Wagner group, which is the Russian paramilitary group, similar to the Azov battalion.
Mhm.
It should be noted that their commander, who has Nazi tattoos on his shoulders, SS tattoos, unlike the Azov battalion guys, I don't recall ever seeing an actual photograph of Zelensky posing with the Azov battalion
I thought
himself.
he would. I mean, or
However,
Zelensky
the
has,
Wagner, the commander of the Wagner group, has posed for photographs with Vladimir Putin, is making these
well, okay,
claims of Nazism. So
that's
let's
scary,
just make
actually.
sure that people
Uh,
know that
Can you link to the one you're talking about? I don't know how to spell it. Is my thing. I was gonna look for it, but
Wagner,
just
Wagner. I'm on my phone
Okay,
on
that's fine.
the call, so
Wagner
I can talk to
Battalion.
them. Yeah, Wagner Group, they're called.
Wagner Group. Let me just pull them up real quick. We'll just do it here.
They're crazy, like insane.
Are they doing stuff right now?
Yeah, they were sent to
Excuse me.
assassinate Zelensky.
They're to assassinate him. Okay, so they're the enemy though.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. These are Putin's guys. The Wagner Group are Putin's guys.
Yeah.
They are also loaded full of Nazis, and also, again, like I said, unlike Zelensky not posing with the Azov battalion, Putin. There are photographs of Putin with the individual, with the one of the commanders from the Azov battalion, or not the Azov battalion, from the Wagner Group, doing photo ops with them. So, Putin can make all those claims he wants, but he has associated with more Nazis, I'm sure, than the president of Ukraine has. And also
I'm going over their kind of dossier right now, and it just does not look good at all. And it's all linked to Russia too. There's very little links to Ukraine even mentioned. I almost wonder if
these guys are like Blackwater on steroids.
Are they in Ukraine, or are they?
They
just
are fighting
Russian?
For the Russians in Ukraine right now. They are fighting on behalf of the Russians.
But are they Ukrainian? It looks like they're Russian.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're Russian. They're Russian.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying is that these groups don't exist solely on the Ukrainian side. Putin makes these claims about the Ukrainians.
Mhm.
However, his military is just as ripe with the same type of people.
Absolutely.
Maybe even, I don't know if he could get worse, but
yeah.
I mean, like the organization as a whole sounds a lot more powerful and way more like this is like Spectre from James Bond shit. These guys are like supervillains.
Absolutely.
And they're also, they have ties to white supremacy, and they not only, unlike the Azov battalion, which unfortunately did end up becoming official members of the Ukrainian military, these guys are not. However, they have direct links to the Kremlin and are involved with Vladimir Putin directly. So it's a little bit different.
Well, it's a little different, and it's more evidence that Putin is very clearly playing dirty, but also just an outright fucking scumbag, really, when it comes down to it. He's just the man, just not somebody that I would have over for a dinner party, and that's saying something. Sorry, you got to bring levity to this bullshit, because I got to tell you, it's really fucking depressing stuff. I'm dumping the URLs, by the way, into the chat just so people can take a look for themselves. But it's sad that we have to talk about this shit. But I wanted to make sure that we did address it a little bit, because it's something that I've noticed neither side has really talked about much lately, or at all. Actually, I haven't seen the CNN and MSNBC, any of them, talk about this. I haven't seen Fox talk about it either. I've seen RT maybe talk about it a little bit, but even they don't talk about it that much yet. I think what they're doing is waiting to formulate a really sexy narrative to again give Putin a moral high ground for shooting up maternity wards and hospitals and stuff like that. And
they've
I want to
actually
disarm the motherfucker, to be honest. I want to use
so they
this
all
conversation to help disarm him.
that was already there. They've already made that claim about the maternity ward and the schools. They said it specifically mentioned the Azov battalion.
Oh, who did though? I know
the Russian foreign minister, I believe.
Oh, did he? Well, okay. But I didn't know that. I assumed it would be all over 4chan and the conspiracy shit. But I didn't realize anybody specifically had officially come out and said that crap. Now here's the thing. The problem is, it might be somewhere in between. Truth-wise, there may have been a Nazi contingent that. I mean, what are you supposed to do when a guy armed to the teeth with a fucking grenade launcher walks by you in a hospital where you're disarmed and says, "I'm going up to the roof to shoot some motherfuckers"? Are you supposed to say, "Sir, no, excuse me, please stop. You're not allowed to do that"? Or do you say, "Yikes, this is bad"? These people in Ukraine are kind of, they're hostages in their own land. By both sides in some cases, especially in the Azov region. And whatever happens, I think the TLDR, to summarize this kind of thing, is yes, there is a Nazi contingent working with the Ukraine military in some places, but that is to defeat the current situation, and it's up to the Ukrainian people to handle this shit after the fact. It's not really a thing that they should probably be focusing on directly right now, because frankly, they don't have that luxury, sadly. It's a really fucked up situation. What do you guys think? What about you, Upgrades? You still there?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you've hit everything. I think that the only thing that I was thinking the whole time is just that cheesy Fallout quote, the war never changes. And like I said, historically it's the same thing, is that you do what you can to survive and you make it okay later, or as okay as you possibly can. Yeah, I mean, the whole situation just feels kind of weird, having a land, an expansionist war in the 2020s. So none of it makes any sense at all in my mind. But
it really doesn't. I don't know. Have you guys seen this bomb defusing thing?
No.
The video of the guys defusing the bomb with the bottled water?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that just the other day. That's crazy fuckers.
Check this out. I'm gonna play it on the stream. Sorry, you can't see it, but playing it on the stream.
Just one thing, I did drop a link to the Guardian in the Twitch chat.
Okay.
Related Lavrov's comments about the Azov battalion in the maternity hospital.
Awesome, I appreciate it. I'll bring it up in 1 second. So this is a pretty chilling video, right? That's some pretty insane shit. And these guys have balls of steel. Now the video is repeating, but while it's repeating, I'm going to blow it up, and I'm also going to pause it right here, because unfortunately we have a problem with this hat. Again, donning Nazi symbolism. It's really fucking frustrating, I gotta say. Seeing this kind of shit, like, I hope, if at nothing else, the Ukrainian military can at least put out a memo to these guys to fucking knock it off with the optics, because they are doing nothing but harming the Ukrainian cause by wearing this shit. I don't care if they believe it or not. If they believe in Nazi stuff, that's terrible and it needs to be dealt with. Knock it the fuck off. Like, leave it out of the world stage, because the whole old saying, "the world is watching," that's true. The world is watching.
It's actually true now, right? It's never really been true before. Right. Now they're watching it HD on real time across Twitter, and
which is amazing too, because HD on Twitter is next to impossible to get in
general.
They seem to downgrade the quality of every video put on there. I know I've put videos myself on there that look like shit when I put them on. What the fuck is this? But okay, so let's talk about that hat. Let's talk about that logo. Is that a German Nazi Iron Cross? Is that what you're pointing out? And is it possible? Is it possible that that is not a Nazi symbol? Because I mean, lots of people have used the cross in different ways. Correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I'm hoping. I'm trying to hope that it's not. You know what I mean? Because obviously we've already proven that there are these people that exist there, but I would like to think that it's fewer than what I'm seeing. Anyhow.
I think the quality was fucked up, and I could be wrong on this one. This one I actually might be wrong because it does look like it's the Iron Cross instead of what I thought it was. I thought it was an Azov battalion logo. But this now that I'm playing it again, it's playing at better quality. It looks more like the Iron Cross, which is something that's been used by pretty much everybody. I mean, my grandfather had an Iron Cross in his stuff. I mean, he was a guard for the German military in World War II, but that's besides the point. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally
Independent Trucks uses one for their logo, right?
He also had all these gold rings. It was really weird.
Yeah, lots of gold. It was really strange.
Grandpa must have been rich.
Rubies, yeah, the whole shebang.
Oh shit. But yeah, this one might be a whoopsie on my part. This was one that admittedly I found. I think we could probably say that this one's okay. I don't know exactly. I thought I zoomed in on it with a good quality somewhere. But I'm terrified to go through my photo albums because of what else is in there. So we're just gonna have to move on to the next and I think last one. I believe I only had one more of these. Sadly though, it really is a fucking. I think Crazed put it like it's a. What did he say? It's like a. Where's Waldo? Every time Getty Images puts out an image these days. That's the same one.
This is the International Women's Day post.
What's that? Oh, this one though was fucking pretty obvious. I mean, come on. Like, dude, it's right in the background of this kid. And he has horrible trigger discipline. My God. Let's turn the volume up because you can hear. I don't know what he's saying, by the way. Oh, well, I guess it's translated at the bottom. But look at right there in the back. It's clear as day. Black Sun and the Azov logo. Did you hear the click? He literally, he pulled the trigger by accident. And thank God it was unloaded and everything. Obviously, they're practicing a little bit of safety, I guess. But Jesus Christ, the pin.
Finger right on the trigger and keep the gun really loaded. That's what he says. Hand it to your kid.
Yeah. It's good that it wasn't loaded because that would have literally shot somebody right there. You can hear the click. I'll play it again. Right there. That's terrible. My internet connection's unstable is what they're telling me. But yeah, it's just another display of it. And honestly, that's not a good look either. To have a gun the size of the kid. Fucking, yeah, let's leave the kids out of it. How about that? Could we please do that? Jesus, fuck.
That's a hard one, man. The kids aren't being left out of it, though. Kids are getting killed.
Just going to say they're being bombed indiscriminately by Russian bombers and mortar shells. So
I know.
So what are we leaving the kids out of it to be defenseless? Like that's the thing. If
maybe they should be removed from the area temporarily. I mean, there is 2 million people that fled.
When the lines of escape are being bombed as well.
Totally understand.
You can't. Yeah.
At that point, you can't. There's nothing you can do, and I would agree.
Might as well teach the kid how to use a gun at that point.
I'm all about it. But
put your booger hook on the boomstick.
I don't like that they used him as a prop, essentially.
No, I don't.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't care for that either.
I would disagree with them using him as a prop. That's fucked up. But I will say that this is the sad reality of war. And the thing is that maybe using him as a prop is shitty, but also it really conveys the point. And the point is kids are being fucking killed. Kids have to think about this shit. Yeah, maybe his parents are shitty for doing that, but the reality of the situation and the situation that needs to come to light is kids are being forced to learn how to use guns so they can kill to save their lives. There's that video of the kid, the 2 dogs and his brother and the
yeah, we were talking about that one.
Yeah, that's insane, man. And then later you find out that the kid also got killed and the dog is sitting on top of the kid, and they shot kids, man. There was nothing. The ROI is just insane on that. You don't shoot.
I didn't hear that it was a kid, so that's even worse. than what I heard, but it's
Yeah, the kid went over to go see his parents. He filmed the video, then went over to go see his dead brother and dad and the dog that was blown in half, the first one, and you can hear it dying.
Yeah.
He gets over there, and later on you see this video, and the Germans, the modern day Germans, the Russians came back and killed the kid too, and the dog, and threw them both in the ditch. So the other dog got killed.
Yeah, I did not hear that follow up.
Yeah, I ended up seeing that extended video. I wouldn't recommend it for the faint of heart, but
no, I can't watch gore like that. I know shit's bad. I already know it's bad. I don't need to be.
You don't need to see it in HD on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm not into violence porn. I know some people are, and some people can tolerate it. There's so much hate in the world. I can't justify exposing myself to even more of it. And I know that's a place of privilege for me to be able to say that right now. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess. Then I guess I'm exercising my privilege a little bit.
I want to say this now, because we've been harping on it and confirming these instances. And I know you've made it a point to say that obviously you support the Ukrainian people and you want to get in front of it, but I do want to make sure that it's known that it sucks these people are there, but these people, and now this is no justification, these people exist in the U.S. military. These people exist in the Canadian military. In fact, what we've had soldiers disbanded here in Canada for participating in neo-Nazi events, and some who were disciplined and not kicked out, others who were.
Yep.
This happens everywhere.
Yeah.
So don't fucking hate the Ukrainians just because they're now forced to rely on these individuals to protect their land. It doesn't make Ukraine a fucking shithole country that deserves the Russian invasion. I don't think anyone listening would think that, but if anyone listening later on sees this video and thinks that, chastising the Ukrainians, it sucks that they have to allow this. It really does, because these people have no fucking place, in my opinion. They have no place in our society, but that's my opinion. I guess they're entitled to their own opinion. I've always been an advocate for free speech, even
the ugly speech, yeah.
Speech, yeah.
I agree.
But these people, fuck them in their fucking asses with a fucking chainsaw. But they're a necessary evil right now. So.
What you're saying is, since these people exist in the Canadian military, we can write off all of Canada, right?
Exactly, right. Yeah, or perfect. America might as well invade America while we're at it.
You got to do America first.
Dan, we'll invade America together. Let's go, buddy.
All right, let's do it.
I'm already in here. I'm a sleeper agent for ourselves.
I was just gonna say, I hear there's already agents on American soil right now. They might even be talking as we speak.
That was a joke, NSA. Don't shoot my dogs, please.
Yeah, right. Oh God. Yeah. Just to echo what you said, No Self. I wanted to bring this up for one reason and one reason alone. To make sure that when people start making a whole lot of noise about this, people being the bots and the disinformation networks and all that they understand what's actually happening. That it's not the entire Ukraine military, that it's not a belief held deeply by the Ukrainian people. It's a very small minority, and it's this small minority of people that's being stoked and funded by Russia to begin with, admittedly by Russia, and B, that it's the scapegoat and the thing that Putin is relying on, saying, hey, look over here, this is why I'm doing this, which is utter and complete bullshit. The Ukrainian people have no choice. They've been backed into a corner by a fucking madman that has nuclear weapons, and we as a fucking world convinced Ukraine to give up their nukes and disarm themselves and fuck themselves. And so, to at least the Americans that are watching, I would say, cherish your Second Amendment. Don't give up your guns, because when you do, you're pretty vulnerable. But beyond that, choose the side that feels right to you in your gut. And I think pretty much everybody would agree the Ukrainians are the underdog in this situation, and my heart goes out to them.